For over 7 decades, the iconic yellow and blue tram cars have been operating on the 2-mile Wildwood, New Jersey boardwalk, transporting approximately 600,000 people each summer. But time has taken its toll on these trams, and it has become clear that they will eventually need to be replaced. Since 2004, the tram cars have been operated by the Boardwalk Special Improvement District, or SID for short, a private, nonprofit corporation which works to improve the boardwalk. For the past several years, SID has been investigating options for replacing the trams, including having custom engines built or using production line vehicles. This summer, SID tested a modified 2025 Ford Maverick with a hybrid engine to pull the trailers, and the results were promising.
So the traditional engines have about a 2,000-pound electric battery in the front that will last about half the day. So when they go out at noon, by about 4 or 5 o'clock, all of the traditional engines, their batteries have to be replaced. To turn over 8 trains like that, it takes us well over an hour to do that. And so with the Maverick, it was very simple. Just you put it out, it runs for 12 hours, no problem. Put it away. The next day, you put it out again, and it does the same thing over and over. So the Maverick was really a workhorse this summer. It was out 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, using on average about 1.5 to 2 gallons of gas a day, which is an incredible efficiency when you consider the number of people that it would carry on any given day.
In addition to wrapping the Ford Maverick in tram car yellow with appropriate signage, some other modifications were made to the stock truck.
Obviously, there were some electronic modifications made to implement the warning system, to provide electric to the trailer, and there were some modifications made for speed restriction as well.
The original tram cars were built for the 1939 New York World's Fair and operated on diesel engines at that time. In 1949, they were brought to Wildwood by Sebastian Ramagosa, who converted them to electric motors and started operating them on the boardwalk in June of that year. Over the past 76 years, additional tram engines have been acquired, but some of the original 5 trams from the 1939 World's Fair still operate on the boardwalk.
So the original 8 were 5 from 1939 and 3 from the 1960s. 2 of the originals are out of service. We did build the Gig, and we modified Sunny, and now we have the Maverick. So we dropped 2, picked up 3, so right now we have 9 operating engines. The original 1939 engine has that rounded front, and then the 1960s engine have this more squared look at the nose. That's how you can tell them apart.
Maintaining these decades-old vehicles is an ongoing struggle.
Just about every component of the original engines are obsolete. The batteries are obsolete, right? That's not the type of electric battery that is used to power vehicles anymore. The electric motor is obsolete, the parts for the electric motor. And so when we have a breakdown of one of the traditional engines, fixing it is a real challenge, and it's becoming more and more difficult as those old parts sort of filter out of the market.
SID investigated having new electric tram engines manufactured, but using production line vehicles offered significant advantages.
All in, it was about between $35,000 and $38,000 to outfit the Ford Maverick for use as a tram engine. When you compare that to, say, the Gig engine, which is our most recent custom-built electric engine, that was just under $200,000. So the upfront costs are astronomically different. There's a company called Severn Lamb, which is pretty much the world's largest manufacturer of electric tugs. Severn Lamb did an extensive engineering analysis for us and proposal. The biggest hurdle there was the cost. Again, each individual engine was coming in at about $180,000. Those engines were not able to operate for 12 hours at a time, so it would have severely limited the operations of the tram cars. So overall, the price, the upfront price, the operational restrictions, and the unique maintenance issues that you get when you have a custom-made electric vehicle made that really an impossible option. The finances of the tram cars just simply don't support that.
Although SID plans on purchasing additional hybrid vehicles, they may or may not be the Ford Maverick.
At this point, we are about 90% sure that we are going to be converting all of the power engines to some type of a hybrid vehicle. We are not set on the Ford Mavericks. The Ford Maverick worked very well for us, and it is one of the real possibilities that we will replace them all with Ford Mavericks. However, we are looking at other types of hybrid vehicles. As you can imagine, there's a lot of them on the market. We are open to a partnership with a manufacturer. Something we are looking at and considering, again, which is one of the reasons I stated that they might not be Ford Mavericks. If a partnership with a manufacturer were to come to fruition, obviously we would be using that manufacturer's hybrid vehicle.
The timeline on replacing the original Tram engines is dependent on finding a national partnership.
If we were to partner with a national manufacturer, it could happen probably quickly, right? Do a lot or all at once. If we don't partner with a national manufacturer, I would imagine that it will take maybe 3 to 5 years. We'll probably bring in 1 or 2 a year for the next, say, 4 years, which would, end up turning over most of the operational fleet. We are, however, going to keep some of the traditional engines in our fleet for special events, for operations in the maintenance yard, pulling things around. So you'll see some of the traditional engines for many, many years mixed in with the new fleet of hybrid vehicles.
There are currently no plans to change the look of the Tram passenger trailers.
We have replaced a good number of the trailers over the years. That's a pretty straightforward process. There's a lot of trailer manufacturers who can do that. They are also a lot easier to maintain, quite frankly, because there's very little in the way of electronics on them. It's just framing. And so the trailers, we have a very good handle on them. Not a real big concern for us.
And as for the iconic tram car warning message,
"Watch the tram car, please. Watch the tram car, please."
As you probably know, there is a lawsuit right now over that recording. It is still the same recording right now that it has always been. I don't imagine that we would change the verbiage. We might change the voice if that's what the judge tells us we have to do, but I would imagine that we're going to continue to call them the tram cars.
Reporting for Dark in the Park, this is Bill Cherkasky.
Watch the tram car, please.